Howdy folks, welcome to Saturday. We've got a medium puzzle today. Oh, I forgot my light here. There we go. Got a little bright. Alright, so let's get going on some mediums here. I am looking for pairs. That's when I do my wanderings here. I see some ones here, and in the center block no one, so a one down the middle, one up the right column. There we go, got our first solve there for the 1. Okay, so let's look for some more pairs here. I've got 7s, and I've got a 7 across the middle, a 7 across the bottom. So we have 2 spots for our 7. Alright, we've got 8s paired, 8 across the top, 8 across the bottom, 8 down the left. So we have 2 spots for our 8s. We've got 1s that are paired, leaves us a 1 in the middle. Nothing down here to help us resolve that just yet. See, we've got some 5s here, pairs. 5 down the left, 5 down the middle. Oh, there we go. Leaves us a resolution there on that 5. Alright, let's see what we've got here. In the center one, we've got a pair. I see a 1 and a 1. Leaves us 2 in the middle. Now that gives us a 1 down the left column, and again, this is a ghost row, folks. There can be no other 1 in this column because it's got to be here, so no 1 in this column. 1 spot left. Now this 1 across and this 1 across leaves 1 spot left for the 1 here. Alright, 1 across the top, 1 across the bottom, 1 across the left leaves 2 spots for our 1 here. And we have 3 spots because we have a 1 and a 1. Okay. So let's see here. Let's look for some more pairs here. Pairs, I see some 3s. That can be helpful here. Might give us a double elimination. We got a 3 down the left, 3 down the bottom. So that does right here, folks. These 2 spaces are locked in with the 1s and the 3s. It has to be a 1 or a 3. Cannot be anything else. So this 5 across here tells me that one of these 2 have to be our 5. Now that gives me a ghost row across. No other 5 in this row other than these 2. 5 across the top, 5 across the bottom, 5 across the left side. 1 spot left for our 5. We've got 2 pairs here, 2 5s. We got a 5 in the middle, 5 in the right. Just 1 spot left for our 5 here. Alright, we've got a 5 across the bottom, 5 across the top. Could be any 3 of these. We're not going to mark that just yet. Down here on the left, we got a 5 across the top, 5 across the bottom. We have 2 spots left for our 5s. Okay. So all of our 5s are marked here. Let's see here. We have an 8, a 2, and a 3. Oh, here we got a 2 and a 2. Again, just kind of looking for pairs with my wanderings. 2 in the left, 2 in the right, 2 across the bottom. So we have just 2 left here. Okay, we've got a 7. See these 7s here? I got a 7 in the right, 7 in the left, 7 across the top, which means this is the only one left for a 7, which means this is the only one left that can be a 1. Okay, so we got 2 resolved there. That is helpful here. Now we have a 1 down the left, a 1 down the, right and the left, and then across the bottom, we have 2 spots left for the 1. Okay. Alright. So I noticed a pattern here really quick. I'm looking at this column because there's a couple spaces left. And I noticed that we're missing a 2, a 3, and an 8. Now when you see that you're missing a couple numbers, 3, I start to look and see what they are. Now this spot right here, I'm missing a 2, a 3, and an 8. And look at this, I got a 2 and a 3 lined up. So that means this space, that could be a 2, a 3, or an 8, can't be a 2 or 3. 8 is the only spot left for it. And then I also see I have a 2 here. So this has to be our 2, our 3, and our 8. And there we go, folks, that column is finished out. Now we got our 3 here, so now we have these 2 that are locked, that are 1 or 3. That resolves those. That helps us to come back and resolve this one. And that cascaded there and resolved a couple numbers for us. Okay, alright, so we're missing 3 numbers here. So I like to look and see, and then we've got 3 numbers here. So let's look at those. We've got a 5, we need an 8. Okay, so here's an 8 in the right, So we know this one or this one is our 8, and then it looks like the other number we're missing is a 4. And 4 could be in any one of these. So I'm just going to mark those here. Once I get down to 3, I've noticed it's just best to mark it. In this particular row, we're missing 2 numbers. We're missing a 2 and an 8. So let's mark those. 2 and an 8 go there. 2 and an 8 go there. And I look vertically, see if there's anything that can help us out. I look in the cube. Nothing that can help us out just yet. Here we have an 8 here that comes up. So we know that one of these two has to be our 8. So we can mark that. That might help us here. Okay. Now I do have a 2 across. So one of these two have to be our 2. So we can mark that. We have a 2 down the left. We now have a 2 in the middle. So one of these two have to be our 2. Alright, so that's what we're doing. We're just looking for those patterns. We're looking for some numbers, anything. Okay, this one has 3 spots missing. So we know it's got to be a 4 and a 5. And then what's the other number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like a 6. Okay, well we've got a 6 here in this cube, so we know that the 6 has to be in one of these. Now we also know we're missing a 4 and a 5. So this one can't be a 5, but it could be a 4. This one, there's nothing that rules out a 4 or a 5. So we're going to write those in there, 4, 5, and we've got our 6 here. So that is marked out. So the 6 is great because even though there's just one 6 across the top and a 6 across the left, so these technically could be a 6, but because of this column and the 6 ruling out in this space, we know the 6 has to be in this right column. So that it eliminates the possibility of a 6 in this column. So that helps us to cancel that out just a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's see where we are at. Okay. I'm looking at pairs again, and I noticed these 7s just popped out in my head because I was looking at this row, and I said, well, it can't have a 7 here. Whoop, can't have a 7 here. Ooh, hey, look, 1 spot left for a 7. And if you pull these across, you'll see that that was the only spot too for a 7, which also helps us to resolve this one. And then we can bring these two paired down, 7 down the middle, 7 down the right. We got a 7 across the bottom. So we now have 2 spots for our 7. And we also have the same thing here, 7 down the left, 7 down the bottom. We have 2 spots left for our 7 here. Okay, now we've got this column almost solved except for this one part of the cube, and I like that because this really eliminates what these numbers can be. So we look and we see what we're missing here. We're missing a 7, which we've got identified, and we're missing a 3 and a 9. So we have a 3 here, so we know the 3 has to go there, and we're missing a 9 in the middle, so we know our 9 has to go there. Now these 3 are locked. That's all that they can be. They can't be anything else. And so that frees us up for these 4 numbers. We know we've got a 2 and an 8. Now we're missing a 4, and we have a 4 down the right side. So we know one of these 2 is our 4. And then what's the other number? It looks like maybe a 6 that we're missing. So a 6 can be any one of these 4 at the moment. Don't have any solutions on the 6s just yet. But we are getting there. Okay, here's a 6. Now we have 2 spots for the 6, which is great. That's going to eliminate the 6 here. Okay, so now we have a 6 across and a 6 across. So now we have 2 spots for the 6. There we go. That helps to simplify that one down just a little bit here. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Now, okay, let's look in this row here. We know that we're missing a 4. We know that we're missing a 6. And we also know that we're missing, it looks like a 9. Okay, a 4, 6, and a 9. And we've got a 9 here, so it can't be here. So this one here could be a 4, 6, or 9. And this one has a 6, so it can only be a 4 or a 9. That'll help us out a little bit. Let's see the other numbers that we're missing here. We've got one more number, a 3. A 4, 9, and a 3. Okay. Let's mark those. 3, 4, and a 9. A 3, a 4, and a 9. And the only reason the 3 can't be there is because this 3 across. Okay, now we do have a 3 here. That brings it up. So let's limit our 3s to here. That is helpful. And we've got our 3 down here. And we're missing a 2. Oh, here we go. This will help us. See this 2 here? Now we have a 2 across the bottom and a 2 across the middle. This one now has to be a 2. Okay, so that's great. That helps us with our 2. We know we've got a 2 here. No 2 in this top one because of this guy. Okay, that helps to simplify our numbers just a little bit. One more number marked down. Okay, so this one, we can take that 2 out of there. All right. And we can take that 7 out of there. Okay, so we know in this column we're missing a 6, an 8, and a 9. Okay, so 9 can't be here, but our 9 could be here or here. We can't have an 8. This one could be our 8 and our 9, and this one can be our 8 and our 6. So that column is marked out. Very important to keep them very well organized and marked. That can really help to solve the solution, to help solve these here. So in this particular one, we're also missing a 3 and a 6, right? A 3 and a 6. So we've got a 6 here. So we know our 6 has to be vertical, like this. Okay. All right. Just kind of seeing what else we have here. Just looking at this row here too, we're missing a 7 and a 9 and a 6. That would be helpful here because this spot right here has a 6 and a 7. And if we're missing a 6, a 7, and a 9, well, that means this is the only spot that our 9 can be because it can't be a 6 and it can't be a 7. So that will actually get rid of this 9 and it would give us the 6. But we know that cannot be a 6 already because we have a 6 here. So that makes this one our 6 and this one our 7. Now this one of these two is our 9, so we know this one has to be our 9. We know this one has to be our 3. Those help to resolve themselves there. We needed a 3 here. We now have a 3 across, so this is now our 3. This is now our 6. This is now our 2. Okay, now this 2, we know this spot is either a 2 or an 8. Well, it can't be a 2 here anymore because of this 2. We can get rid of those numbers. Alright, and we've got a 3, 4, and 9 that's missing here. Now here's a 3, and here's a 3. So this is the only spot left in this column that can be a 3, because this could still be a 4 and a 9. Whoa, where'd we go? I hit a button wrong there. There we go. 4 or a 9. 4 and a 9, 4 and a 9. Okay. Alright. So we just hopped all over the place. Let's come back down here. We're missing a 4 and a 6 in one of these two spots. Well, we've got a 6 there. So we have a 4 and a 6. Okay. Alright. And then we know here's a... this is either a 6 or an 8. Well, we can't have a 6, so now it's an 8. We've got our 8. So there's our 4. That's our 8, so that means this has to be our 9, which means this has to be our 6. And we can get rid of this. Oop, I hit the shift rather than the alt. We'll get rid of that 6, but it still could be a 3. We still have that one solved. Now this one can't be a 2. The only number missing there is our 8. Okay, which means this one, it just kind of cascades with the solution here. We can get rid of that 8. So we have a 4 or a 5. Now this is saying this can't be a 4 because this is a 4 or a 5. So that means that's going to be our 4, that's going to be our 9. So if this is our 4 and our 5, the number we're missing is a 2 and a 4. And the only number we're missing here is our 9. And they're cascading quite quickly here. You see this is a 3 or a 9. Well, we just got our 9 here. 9, 3. This is the only number left, and it's not a 2 because we already solved for the 2. It looks like an 8. Alright, so if these two, one of those was our 2, well, that one's our 2. Okay, alright. Now it can't be a 4. We've got our 4 resolved. So if this one is a 4 or a 6, then that has to be our 6 because there's our 4, which leaves this as our 9. Okay, So we have a 4 and a 5, and we have a 4 and a 5, 4 and a 5, 4 and a 5, 5 and a 7. Well, this is the only one left to be a 7, so that makes this our 5, which makes this our 4 and our 5 and our 5 and our 4. I know that was a little bit chaotic, folks. Sorry about that. You kind of find your own method there when you get going. The important thing was to make sure you had it well marked. And sometimes I forget to erase them. You know, that's where that complication or confusion can come into place, is when you resolve a number, you have to go back through and erase the ones that no longer apply. Sometimes I leave numbers, and that does get kind of confusing. So pay attention to that on your game. That might help you out. I hope you guys had some fun. I hope this was helpful. And please, again, I would love to hear comments, suggestions, or challenges. I do enjoy the game. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you later, folks.